It's getting more and more expensive to get that roof over your head. Rent prices continue to climb nationwide, including here in the Portland metro area.
There are new numbers out showing just how much prices have surged in this pandemic. Joining us this morning to break it all down and share why the increases are happening is Brian Carberry, managing editor with Apartment Guide. Good morning.
Hey, how are you doing, guys?
Doing
Good,
well.
good. We were just talking about this on the show yesterday, seeing rental increases, anywhere from 15 to 50% in some cities. What is causing this huge spike in rent?
Yeah, it's interesting. If we were talking a year ago, we would have been saying people can't afford to pay their bills because of the pandemic and being laid off or furloughed. And then a year later, people are unable to get into a new apartment just because of rising prices. And this really is something that we're seeing all across the country, not just in the Portland area. Nationally, rent is up about 20% for a one-bedroom apartment, 18% for a two-bedroom apartment. And a lot of the reason for this are supply and demand issues. Occupancy rates are at all-time high, so vacancies are at an all-time low, not a lot of available units on the market, and just more people looking to get into an apartment than there ever really have been up until this point during the pandemic. So the competition, it really is fierce in a lot of areas, and that's driving up some of these prices.
You talked about what's happening across the nation. Specifically here in Oregon, we saw one of the highest spikes in rent in the country. So what is it about Oregon that is contributing to these high rents?
Yeah, Oregon, Nevada, Idaho all saw really big rent price increases. And I think what you're seeing there are prices as a whole in those states, and certain cities going to be different, but as a whole in the states are kind of relatively affordable when comparing to the national average. People coming from high priced areas, notably California, seeing the more affordable options there, looking for a cheaper alternative of a place to live and possibly a little bit more availability, maybe not, but moving into areas like that and really just driving up that demand. Now, prices are going up. It is all relative when you say, oh yeah, this place is cheaper than this place, but you're seeing something similar really all across the South and a lot in the West Coast. Just some of these areas that are traditionally have been more affordable are seeing a lot of the highest rent price increases because, as people are able to work from home during the pandemic, actually the city where you live becomes less important. There's just people flocking to these areas and just adding to that competition in those markets.
Yeah, so for the people who are, staying in those markets or, looking to renew their lease, but they're getting some sticker shock when they do. I mean, what can renters do? Do people have any power in the situation?
It definitely is a tough situation because as long as the market will dictate a price, landlords and property managers are going to be able to price their units for really whatever they want. If someone is going to be willing to rent it at that price, that's what they're going to do, and they're going to price it at that level. For people, and a lot of people are finding themselves in a situation where it is just unaffordable to live by yourself. A lot of people, once again, as they were in the beginning of the pandemic, looking to move in with roommates, consolidate households, move back in with parents, or move in with kids if you're, an older, elderly person. Just anything that you can do to kind of cut costs, split bills, split the rent. We're also seeing a lot of people looking into, and I don't advise this, but a lot of people looking into personal loans to try to help with some of these payments as well. But then you kind of go down a whole other chapter of having to pay off interest and paying off that loan. But a lot of people really are taking some steps to do what they can to cut these bills.
Yeah, in terms of just trying to afford all of these rents, you talk about supply and demand. Are there apartment buildings coming online right now that could maybe relieve some of this pressure? What are you seeing there?
Yeah, we are seeing a lot of markets across the country, Portland being one of them, where there is new construction that is going to be coming on the market. Unfortunately, a lot of these units, and not every one, but a lot of them are going to be in popular areas, areas where there already is a lot of demand. And because of that, they're going to be newer, in some cases going to be luxury units, and are going to be priced a little bit higher. So while there will be more options, there'll be more high priced options. So it really won't give a lot of relief for people that are looking for a deal or an affordable option. That's not to say that we aren't going to see affordable housing options come on the market, but it's not going to be every single new property is going to be affordable.
Is negotiation on the table at all right now? I've always heard that, if you're looking to renew a lease, you should ask. They might not charge you as much as their initial, price increase. Is that at all a factor these days?
You can always ask, but the power really is more with the property owner right now than it is the renter. had we been talking in the beginning of the pandemic, you could negotiate a lot because prices were staying flat or falling in a lot of different areas. Since there is so much competition, landlords and property managers really can put out, any price, and they're going to have almost a bidding war for people coming in and getting some of these units. But if you are a tenant that's been in a property for a while and you've been a good tenant, let your landlord know that you've been a good tenant, you want to stay, maybe even ask if you can lock in a longer lease term, maybe 24 months instead of 12 months, and they may be willing to cut you a deal, because at the end of the day, a landlord, while they want to get the most money that they can each month for the rent, they also want to deal with a tenant that's good, that they can trust, that they know is going to pay the rent on time. So if you have been a good tenant, you do have that working for you, and you can try to talk to your landlord and offer up some sort of alternative to a rent price increase that you may be seeing.
Yeah, quite different from the beginning of the pandemic when a lot of apartment buildings were offering
They were
incentives,
empty,
like
yeah.
free rent for a month
months
or no
free,
security
yeah.
deposit. Those days seem to be gone. Brian Carberry with the Apartment Guide, thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Have a good one, guys.
You too. And you can read more about the state of the rental markets, Apartment Guide's report right now on apartmentguide.com.